Welcome everyone to Finding Life. My name is Jeff, and I'm here to help you find life, enjoy life, and win in life. Welcome to episode number 45. What about the toys? Remember the end of episode 44, I talked about that it's about the money, but our life is not based on how many toys we have. All right, so what about the toys? What about the toys? Let's go to Luke chapter 12. And I'm going to read, starting in verse 13, I'm going to read right through to verse 34, and then we're going to come back. And I'm going to just teach and share on a few things. So, starting in verse 13. Then one from the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." And he said to him, "Man, who made me a judge or an arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses." Then he spoke a parable to them, saying, "The ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, since I have no room to store my crops? So he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will store all my crops and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, Fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So it is he," this is Jesus speaking now, "so it is he who teaches." Now he's been speaking the whole time, but this is his teaching now on what he just, the person he just talked about, the event that a certain person that he's talking about. Now he's sharing this. He says, "And so it is with he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God." Then he said to the disciples, "Therefore I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, or what you will put on. Life is more than food, and the body is more than clothing. But consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which have neither storehouses nor barns, and God feeds them. Feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by worrying, can add 1 cubit to his stature? For if you then are not able to do the least, why are you anxious for the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow, how they neither toil nor spin. And yet I say to you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed or clothed like one of these. If then God so clothes the grass, which today is in the field and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? And do not seek what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor have any anxious mind or thought. For all these things the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knows that you need these things. But seek the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added to you. Do not fear, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell what you have and give alms. Provide yourself money bags, which do not grow old, and treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches, nor moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So, verse 15. The guy comes to him and says, he said, "Tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." And Jesus said, "Take heed and beware of covetousness." So, covetousness was this guy's problem. He said, "For one's life does not consist in the abundance of things he possesses." Our life does not consist in the abundance of toys and the stuff that we have. And then he shares this parable. A guy that increased, and then he tore down his barns because he didn't have enough room, and he made bigger barns, and then, God was not pleased with him. Jesus said this: the problem was not that he expanded. The problem was not that he increased. The problem was not that he built bigger barns. The problem was that he was not rich towards God. So it is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. God is not against saving. God is not against investing. God is against people not being rich towards God. That's the problem. This parable exposes the problem of not being rich towards God. So verse 31 says to us, listen, seek first the kingdom of God. What is that? That's God's way of doing things. We need to seek His way of doing things. Okay, His way. One way of His doing something is it's not about the toys. It's about being rich towards God. So we can have the toys as long as we are rich towards God. So the answer to this covetousness that this guy had was in verse 31, where God told him to sell all that he had. He's not telling us to sell all that we have, but because his problem was covetousness, this was the answer to his problem. But we see here, let's continue here next time, and we're going to talk about how to be rich towards God. God bless, and we'll see you next time.